As a huge believer of crypto and blockchain and tokenization, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks.
Larry Fink is, of course, Blackrock's CEO. In a very public way for a while now, he's been a big believer in RWA, real-world assets. And this is a sector that, I keep saying it, but it continues to be true. It is currently the hottest sector, the hottest narrative, in fact, also in cryptocurrency. And the hottest project in this particular sector is Ondo, O-N-D-O, which is up over 1,700% in the last year and a half, in the last 18 months. And just yesterday, they met with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States. People are speculating, and the question has obviously become, does this indicate a big pump for ONDO? And look, as we all know, unfortunately, Mantra, ticker OM, has fallen off the cliff. Now, Ondo Finance seems to be the new leader in this RWA crypto space. Here's exactly why you should pay attention to this project. We're deep diving, we're covering all of the latest developments that you ought to know about when it comes to Ondo Finance. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie, and this is Altcoin Buzz. TGIF, and all the best of luck if you choose to invest, genuinely. Just remember that I'm not a financial or investment advisor, which means by extension that this video is not official financial or investment advice. Okay, so the recent big news from Ondo is, of course, their talks that I mentioned with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ondo has actually been in talks with the SEC's Crypto Asset Working Group, or Crypto Task Force. They're looking into all kinds of different ways to be compliant. Compliance is a very important element here. Ondo's focus is on tokenization and really the future of digital asset regulation. So compliance is a big deal. The idea is to issue US tokenized securities. And Ondo is doing exactly what logically you'd expect. This is the way to go about this sort of thing, by going really straight to the source, the SEC. And this is happening only a few days after Paul Atkins officially became the new chair of the SEC. He's actually already even had his first series of public appearances. Here's one, for example, where he appeared with President Trump. And his priority, as far as what's being said, what he's expressed, is to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets. And of course, that fits Ondo to a T.
A top priority of my chairmanship will be to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach. We will work to ensure that the United States is the best and most secure place in the world to invest and to do business.
Not everybody knows this, but Atkins is already a former SEC commissioner. Furthermore, he was also a senior advisor for Securitize. And Securitize has, among others, a partnership with Blackrock. Blackrock, of course, has their BUIDL fund, that's B-U-I-D-L. And then, of course, who has ties to that BUIDL fund? Well, none other than Ondo Finance. So the circle is coming around here. It's all starting to make sense. Atkins being at the helm of the SEC actually seems very beneficial for Ondo Finance. And probably by extension, you could argue the entirety of the RWA sector as a whole. Now, one of the projects that Ondo Finance is working on is Wall Street 2.0. You can liken this, you can also compare it to stablecoins, who took the US dollar on a digital global ride and were a big deal in terms of setting up that equivalence with a digital asset, right? Ondo's Wall Street 2.0 is going to do much of the same for US capital markets. And Ondo calls this Ondo Global Markets. The idea is that you're going to gain access to thousands of tokens, all backed one-to-one by stocks, bonds, and ETFs. So in other words, this is TradFi, traditional finance, meeting DeFi, decentralized finance. However, currently this platform, unfortunately, is not available in the United States. Now, nothing's guaranteed, but we have to consider all the developments that we're seeing with the SEC that I described just a moment ago. And if you extrapolate and you look at the evolution of this space, right now, not available in the US, but things may change. It should come as no surprise that Wall Street is opening up in a big way to the idea of tokenizing assets, because this offers various advantages, right? Just one very simple example here is the fact that it's a market that's open 24/7. BlackRock's BUIDL could be one of the vehicles too. And look, we saw already that Ondo has very close ties to this particular fund. Ondo also very much has the means to attract Wall Street right now. It already offers tokenized treasuries, and that's across 9 different chains. And then coming up are bonds and ETFs. So Ondo is actively building the rails that TradFi needs. Let's talk about the price of ONDO, which as I record sits at exactly $1. It is up over 12% on the day, sitting at 3.1, actually closer to a $3.2 billion market cap as I speak. That puts it at number 41 in terms of crypto ranks as measured by market cap. Now, a weaker point that I want to highlight here, make sure you're aware of this, is the fact that we have only 3.1 billion Ondo, ONDO, out of a max supply of 10 billion in circulation. However, the next big and yearly token unlock is still relatively far away. It's 9 months away. We're looking here at the last 7 days, and you can see a pretty healthy uptrend. In fact, if you zoom out even further, we look at the last 14 days, there's just been a lot of good news for ONDO. It's up over 20% over that span of time. By the looks of it, it seems like there's more to come as well. So despite what is a relatively higher market cap, right? This is not a low cap altcoin. Despite that, there's still plenty of growth potential for ONDO. For example, check out this video here on how many ONDO you need to become a millionaire. We examine the possibilities and the future potential price of ONDO, including up to $30, which, may not happen overnight. In fact, I can guarantee you it won't. But one day, given the trend, given how explosively this sector, RWAs, is expected to grow, that is possible. $30 is possible one day in the future. Ondo's TVL has already surpassed $1 billion, so that also looks good. Where can its price go from here, though, realistically? I talked about the distant future, but what about the shorter term? OCT Trades sees the next price target at $1.50. And this seems to be a popular next price target. Here's another one that had $1.25, anywhere from that to $1.50 price on their radar. Dami DeFi is more optimistic. They're predicting a $3.50 price if the trend continues. We're at $1 again today, so simple math, that is a 3.5x from here. And then even more optimistic, we have All In Crypto. They are predicting a $4 price range for ONDO. Look, whatever you agree with or disagree with, Ondo is breaking out right now, and the short-term price action and targets look very, very good. But holistically, it's a project that's doing a lot of the right things. The environment is right. The landscape in a regulatory sense is right. And for once, minus the Gary Gensler kind of variable, just everything seems to be lining up. We have people in administrative positions that want to see this kind of stuff succeed. Ondo Finance seems to be geared to take advantage of that and do very, very well.